Okay, hi everyone. So when I started Project Green Challenge, I had a set of expectations about what the project would mean. I had a pretty limited understanding of what would be covered. I expected things like not using plastic water bottles, recycling more. I also had a very individualistic view of what the daily challenges would be. I pretty much thought it would be me alone at my computer, or me changing little details about my personal life. And then I also thought, like, oh, this is a threshold. Like, once I'm done with Project Green Challenge, I will be, an ultimate eco-hero. This is, like, a defining moment. And, of course, there are many surprises for me along the way, as I'm sure all of you experienced. So, for one thing, I had no idea of the scope of the challenges, the breadth of topics that would be covered. I had never anticipated a whole body challenge. Those were topics that had never crossed my mind as falling under the category of environmentalism. The same goes for the technology challenge. I had never considered the entire life cycle of a laptop or a television. And I had never thought about fair trade as an environmental issue. I'd always thought of it as more of a social issue. And then secondly, my individualistic view, that was completely wrong. It turned out that every day I was interacting sometimes with my physical community, with classmates, other times with the virtual community, with all of you on Facebook. And I discovered that this was not the first or only threshold, that there would be many thresholds ahead, and that I was really just stepping onto a path which would continue, I hope, for the rest of my life, this environmental path that I'm on. That's why I chose the path image, which Jessica also used. So, of course, I faced some challenges which will continue as I develop what environmentalism means to me. One of those challenges was my own shyness, which I've had to address again and again, particularly in the challenges which asked me to go interview. So this was from an interview at a farmer's market, but I also had to interview teachers and staff from my school who I didn't know very well. These experiences really forced me to step outside my characteristic shyness and to really push myself to reach out for information and for a new perspective. So another challenge I faced, conflicts in my home. For example, after the green cleaning challenge, I wanted to get rid of all of our chemical-laden products, and that wasn't something that my mom was up for right away. She has a much more traditional view of what it means to clean a household, and she has conceptions about what it means to sanitize things, and she believes that chemicals are necessary for that. So I just see this as basically an opportunity for us both to learn together and for us to collaborate in our research and to come to some kind of compromise which addresses both of our needs and interests. And then a final challenge has just been time and money, which I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the interaction between the environmental movement and time and money. There's really, I think that's one of the biggest challenges for everyone going forward, is balancing the need to live the other parts of our life in a timely manner, but also to keep a budget, all of that. So the things that I've learned through Project Green Challenge, one of them is just that I can't change everything at once, and that I really need to go step by step and little by little. So for me, this has meant when I run out of a product, for example, shampoo, then I'll do the research and find a cleaner shampoo. Or when a holiday comes up, like Thanksgiving, making it a sustainable Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming up, so we're going to try to use recycled newspaper for wrapping and such. And then I've also learned that I'm not alone, and that, first of all, there's you guys. You're just such a wonderful community. I feel so lucky to be a part of this network. You guys have really supported me throughout. But I'm also discovering the community in my own school. And I knew that Lick was a very green school, but I wasn't really connected to the people who were working on these initiatives. So when I did the electronics recycling drive at my school, there were teachers and students coming up to me in the hallways thanking me for starting this project and asking me how they could get involved. The Center for Civic Engagement really helped me increase awareness about the project, to increase student involvement, and I was just blown away, really, by the response and the interest in my community. And that showed me that all I need to do is step up. And once I step up, everyone else who's interested in this topic will come to me and support me and help me in this endeavor. And all I need to do is really bring the initiative to the table. So in my community, some of the things that I've been working on since beginning Project Green Challenge, I started volunteering at an organization in West Oakland called City Slicker Farms, which runs several sustainable gardens throughout West Oakland, which is kind of a food desert, providing sustainably grown food to West Oakland families who otherwise don't have access to those foods. I've started connecting with people in my school community who share my interests. I recently went to a garden work day where I met a bunch of kids who share my interest in sustainable gardening and community action. Kids that I might not have connected with, at least on these issues, if I hadn't been to that day. And then I've also just begun teaching my family and my friends, sometimes teaching by example, just not taking a paper towel when I'm washing my hands in the bathroom. Also teaching through education, like actual teaching, just sharing the knowledge that I've learned through Project Green Challenge in discussions or just fact sharing. Oh, and then here's some pictures of the garden work day, and then just cooking with my mom. So, as I said, it's kind of a path, and some places that I see myself going. I'm just continuing to work on this step-by-step basis, not overwhelming myself, but keeping a list of, things that I want to cover eventually, like the cleaning challenge, for example. Eventually, as we run out of old products, I want to begin replacing those with better ones. And as holidays come up, I want to begin implementing more sustainable practices in the way that we run our holidays. Finding time is another one, where being green, it's not something like circus or ballet where I can set aside 2 little chunks of my week, an hour and a half each, to be green. That's not what it's about. It's really about changing my mindset, changing how I think about living my life and thinking about every choice I make, just implementing this sort of a greener lens, if you could say, the way that I look at each choice that I make. And then, I really just want to thank you all for this journey that you've accompanied me on. You've really been the wind at my back and the path beneath my feet. As I said before, shyness is something that has challenged me and will continue to challenge me. And Susie said something to me yesterday, which I found really important, which was that she said that my passion is going to be what's going to help me overcome my challenge. My shyness, sorry. My passion will help me overcome my shyness. And I actually just think that really ties in something with what Zem was saying, that inspiration is what mobilizes. And you guys are my inspiration. You guys are lighting my passion and helping me overcome my shyness. I'm just so, so thankful to all of you for being part of my life in this way.